Hello, everyone, and welcome to our information session today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Laura Laporte. I'm from the admissions office here at Fulton-Montgomery Community College, and thank you for joining us. We have a really interesting topic to discuss today, and before I introduce you to our speaker, I just want to let you know that if you are joining us via the Zoom call or Facebook Live, your questions are welcome through our chat function. You can also type your questions in to Facebook as well, and we'll answer those. So please feel free to enter your questions in through the chat. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to Jane Kelly. She's our Vice President for Student Affairs, and she is going to be our guest speaker for today. Hi, Jane.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy to be here today to talk about our reopening plan at FM. We have a lot of great information to share with you today. And Laura will take us through some topics, and I'll respond as I can. And if, like Laura said, if you have any questions along the way, just type them into the chat and we'll try to get your answers. So what do you want to talk about, Laura?
So just to kind of get started, Jane, can you walk us through basically the planning process and what we've put in place to help keep students, also our staff and everyone safe in this very unusual environment, learning environment they're in? Why don't we start with that, and we'll take questions as they come in.
Okay, sure. So as you can imagine, when the world turned upside down back in March, we were very responsive to move our semester courses, the rest of our semester, to remote learning. Since that time, we have worked remotely, many of us, till August 3rd. We came back to campus on August 3rd, and we've been very, very busy planning behind the scenes to make sure that everything is in place for when classes start on September 2nd. Just to give you a little bit of an outline, most of our classes in the fall will be taught in one method, which I'll get into a little bit later, remotely, let's say. Approximately 30% of our courses will be taught in person for the fall semester. We have been working very hard to get our campus ready, making sure that our buildings have proper signage and are ready to go for when we reopen the campus on September 2nd. Our buildings, for the most part right now, are closed. We do have signage outside of each building directing students which way to go. And what I want to tell you about that is, just because our buildings are closed to students doesn't mean that we're not here for students. We are all here, ready to go with any questions, any service that you need. So that's an important thing to realize. For our returning students, the semester is going to look a little bit different because they have been here, and they have been here when the campus has been active and alive. And for our new students, it's really the new normal. So we're working hard to get things in place. Some of the safety measures that we have in place are, they're obvious safety measures that all campuses are working on. We're practicing social distancing, keeping people 6 feet apart. We're asking students to wear a face mask when they're on campus, and to bring their own face mask when they come on the campus. That said, if for some reason a student forgets a face mask and doesn't have one, we will not turn a student away. We will give a face mask. We have a supply of them here on campus. Our protocol for wearing face masks will be to have them on when you're inside buildings, and then when you're in classrooms, to follow the protocols that the teaching faculty will put in place inside the classroom. Hand sanitizers are very important. They're everywhere now. It doesn't matter where you go, there's hand sanitizers. They are, let's see, Laura's trying to follow what I'm trying to say here, but let me just talk about the hand sanitizers. Sure. Are made up of 60% alcohol, which is the CDC guidance, which we're following. And, it's important to remember to wash your hands frequently, follow campus signage as you see it. What you're looking at right now on the screen is C110. It's one of our lecture halls on campus. And as you can see, our facility staff has set it up so that there's 6 feet between people. You'll see the row with tape on it and tape on the seats. You can sit 1, not in 2 and 3, and then you can sit in 4. The whole row behind that is off limits. So you can see that we've really taken this seriously. And Laura, if you want to switch to a few other pictures, we can see some
Sure.
more shots of that.
Sure.
These are actually our new science labs, which are really fantastic. And they're set up in such a way that they allow for students to be 6 feet apart as well.
There's your hand sanitizer that you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah,
how that's,
and there's signage and the hand sanitizers. You'll see them all over campus. They're even in my office. They're in the student welcome center. They're all over to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to use them frequently. What you're looking at now is an area of the college that we call the pit. And as you can see, it's usually a real hub of activity for students, but we have set up single chairs at tables. If a student does need to sit and do work while they're on campus, they can use that area. And I think, Laura,
we're going into the Student Development Center, which again is another popular location for students. That's where all our academic advisors are located. And you can see we've got the plexiglass is in place there. And then really our library has done a fantastic job. Jane, do you want to kind of walk through, and I'll go through the pictures as you.
Sure. The library will be a hub of activity in the fall semester. This library, our Evans Library, will be open to students Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. and then remotely on Friday. And the person in the picture there is Dan Town. He is our librarian. And Laura and I had an opportunity to tour their area yesterday, and we were amazed at just how great they have it set up. You can see if you go to the front circulation desk, you can go to the left or to the right, and they have a protocol set up for waiting, practicing social distancing. And this is an important slide to show you. This, every station that is set up in the library, and it's set up with the social distancing protocols, when you enter the library and you go to a station like this, you will read that this station has been sanitized. If you go into the library and there's a chair that is down, that means it has not been cleaned. And when we spoke to library staff yesterday, they assured us that they are keeping very close contact with when people are using the seats, and they will make sure that between uses, the seats are sanitized. So I thought the workstation, actually, not just the seat. So
Right.
I thought that was wonderful. And then you may see signs like this at various places in the library, and that again is just to reinforce the social distancing that we have to have in place. But they've done a great job at making it a great place to be, a workable place to be, but also a safe place to be. And you see the plexiglass there as well.
They've even set it up so that when you do check things out, it's you do not have to touch. No one has to touch your card. They don't have to touch the materials, so it's all touch free. And then there's information about guide computer use. Obviously, they're marking the station whether it's been sanitized, so students have additional signage. Foot traffic, obviously, standing 6 feet apart, which is very good. And then having good signage to direct students as to kind of where the line starts for things to hopefully reduce any confusion or misunderstandings along the way. So I think they did a fantastic job on that.
Yeah, and just to say further that they've taken it even a step further. They have closed off collections. They have like CD collections or some certain book collections behind glass, so that a member of the library staff will need to access that for you. It just decreases the number of touches from other people. And I think that's an important thing to remember. So I'm really happy with what we've seen in the library.
So Jane, I think now everybody would really like to know how we're going to be delivering classes for the fall. How are we going to manage that? And, talking about all the work that went into place this summer to make sure that we have a really fantastic program for the fall.
Yeah, that's a very good question to ask, and it's a very important thing for incoming students and returning students to know. As I said when I first started speaking earlier, that in March when all the schools closed down and faculty members had to put their courses for the last 6 weeks of the semester online, that was a heavy lift, and our faculty responded in a great way. And since that time, they have really taken it to the next level. So I just want to assure students, if you're already registered or if you're thinking of registering, that FM is ready for the fall semester. So courses will be delivered in 3 ways. The first way will be 100% web-based online. Course content will be delivered through the internet utilizing a learning management system called Blackboard. Courses will be taught asynchronously, which means that there are no in-person or online lectures, which allows students to log in and do their work at any time. Then there's remote courses that will be taught online. So this is a little bit different. Course content will be delivered online using Blackboard again. In addition to online requirements, some course lectures will be provided live in Blackboard using Microsoft Teams during regularly scheduled class time. So if you're in ENG 103 and you have that at 9 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you will be able to log in and watch that course live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The neat thing about this is if that session, if you're not able to attend a class, all of those classes will be recorded so that you will have an opportunity to go back and see it and make sure that you don't miss a lecture. So that's really important. The next way that we're going to deliver courses is in person. And this is when I said earlier that approximately 30% of our courses will be taught in person. Now this is select applied hands-on courses, labs, physical education courses will be held in person. Most phys ed courses, just to say, will be held remotely, but some of them will be held outdoors and on campus. So the main thing to do as a student, and I'm sure many of you have already done this, but in case you haven't, you should review your class schedule, and advisors were reaching out to students just to do that. And if you haven't had a chance to do that, if you want to go on our website to view the schedule for the fall, you can look to see, on the right-hand side of each course, it will give you the method of delivery. So if you take a look at that, and if there's something that doesn't feel right to you, or if you want to make a change, get a hold of our advising center, and we can do that before the start of the semester.
In addition, Jane, I'll just add that looking at that class schedule, there's also a link there for the syllabus. So each class that's listed, there is a link there. And so although they may say that this class, meets for a lab or whatever, if you want further details, if you click onto the syllabus of that particular class, it'll explain everything, exactly what's going to happen within that class. So just some additional information.
Yes, and what I understand is that on August 19th, Wednesday, August 19th, each instructor will share their course syllabus with each registered student. So if you don't want to reach out and do that, you can go and make sure that on the 19th, you will be getting emails from your instructors. So that, and as I say that, let me just reinforce how important FM email will be in the fall semester. It's been our official form of communication with students for a while now, but I can't stress enough how important it will be for the fall semester. So if you don't know your login credentials, your password, your login, make sure that you contact your advisor or the Student Development Center to get that information in place, because you will need to access FM email to really keep on top of events and happenings regarding your courses. And also, not even from your courses, but also from student support services as well.
Right. Jane, can we talk a little bit about technology? One of the challenges that students faced when we were immediately we had to go to a remote learning in the spring was some students were not prepared, with the right type of equipment, internet access, and so forth. And I know maybe you could talk a little bit about how we tried to transition and react to that, and more importantly, what we put into place for the fall so that students will have access remotely.
Yeah, so when March happened, we started a loaner program, which we will continue in the fall. There is a computer requirement starting in the fall for students, and If you go to our website and you search computer requirements, you'll get to the document which will outline exactly what it is you'll need. Having said that, many times financial aid can cover the cost of a laptop, and the Raider Trader, our college store, will have computers in stock that you could purchase with a book deferral. If that is not possible for you, we will have a loaner program as well. So read that document, because that will guide you on what your next steps will be in terms of accessing technology. Another important thing, we live in a rural area. So some people may not have technology readily available, which is the beauty of having the Evans Library open. If you find that you need to come to campus to access technology, please know that we are aware of that, and our campus will be open for you to use.
Jane, we do have a question here. Will students be allowed to live on campus if they have courses that are on campus?
Yes, our housing will be open in the fall. It will not be a traditional fall semester for housing because we have to make sure that our safety protocols are in place. But yes, housing is available. We will not be using Raider Hall this fall. We will be using Fulton Hall and Montgomery Hall. And the reason for that is that those suites are equipped with kitchens. And because we won't have food service on campus for the fall semester, it will be an important thing for students to be able to cook their own food. That said, we will have a micro market on our campus, which will be located in the lobby of O'Connell Hall, and students will be able to access drinks, chips, coffee, and some microwavable type foods that they would be able to take to their residence hall or eat on campus. There will be microwaves also in that lounge.
Great. Another question for you, Jane. With the distancing rules followed for in-person classes, will they have to wear a mask in class?
Yeah, entering your classroom, yes, you will need to wear a mask coming into class. Once you're in class, you will work, your instructor will give his instructions or her instructions on what the protocol will be after that. If we're in classrooms that, I think wearing a mask is probably safer than not wearing a mask, but that will be at the faculty member's discretion.
Okay. I'll get another question. Is freshman orientation still happening on August the 25th?
That's a great question. Thank you, whoever asked that question. No, the answer is no. New student orientation is going to be all virtual, and we have some wonderful modules that you will be able to watch and learn about becoming a student at FM. You won't have to come here physically to campus. And I know that I just got an email about 20 minutes ago with a banner that will be on our website that will give you all the instructions that you need for new student orientation. So please pay attention to that. You can watch, they're short, they're fun, they're intended to be informative, and I hope you get a lot out of it. If you are looking at new student orientation and you have questions, you can always contact the advising center. That's a good place to talk to, or anybody on campus, depending on which module that you're looking at. I'm sure that they will give you information in each module to contact them if you have questions. Thank
Awesome.
you for that
really
question.
Great questions. Thank you, everyone, and please keep them coming. So now we've talked about basically how we're opening. We've talked about the physical structure of what buildings are going to be opened. We've talked about all the safety measures. We've talked about our robust online, remote, face-to-face learning environment that's going to happen for the fall. And let's now transition and talk about the academic supports that we're going to have for the fall semester. A lot of thought and effort has gone into that, and some new initiatives are going to be taking place this fall to help students be successful. Could you talk a little bit about that, Jane?
Well, first, I want to start by saying that we have the benefit here at Fulton-Montgomery Community College. We are a small college, so we specialize in supporting our students. Making connections with students is one of our hallmarks, and even in a remote setting, I can't imagine that it would be any different than that here. Our faculty are all student-centered. We have tutoring in our Evans Library. We have a math lab. We have a writing center. and we have tutors that will be deployed for whatever needs students have. So you can rest assured that any help that you need will be given to you in terms of that. We're changing our tutoring model to one of an academic coach, and that will be great because I think that model will be more encompassing and more supportive for our students. So absolutely. We will be very supportive of your needs, both from the academic side and from the student support side.
We do have another question. Will there be a fall or spring play musical?
No, unfortunately, I can only speak about the fall right now. There's a lot of uncertainty right now about, what's going to happen with COVID. So for the fall semester, we will not be having a play. And stay tuned for the spring semester.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
So students will have the support that they need through obviously these great academic coaches. Jane, that'll be really great. There is opportunity for face-to-face math, English, same business as usual, if you will, for our students, our returning students, as well as new students. So talking about all that, understanding that students are anxious about the fall semester, that things are going to be different, perhaps given the fact that schools in general were thrown into an online learning environment unexpectedly with no opportunity to really prepare, may have left a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth as to online learning and thinking about going to college. Maybe some students have been thinking about, maybe I'll put my college on pause, that maybe I'll just wait this out a little bit and see if this goes by. And given your years of experience working at a college, Jane, what advice would you give a student about who's thinking maybe I should just pause my college education? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I've worked at FM for over 20 years. Started in the admissions office, and I've met thousands of students in my years here. And I will tell you that, and I can also speak to you personally about that. Don't put your education on pause. We have everything in place to make your education successful. And by putting it on pause, what I many times will tell young people that I meet with is that, you say, well, maybe I'll work for a year and then I'll go to college after that. What happens many times is that a student will go to work and then you start earning money and you start accumulating some debt, and then you have to keep working. So it makes your opportunity for going to college for a traditional student less and less as time goes on. I started at a 2-year college, and after I earned my 2-year degree, and I love that people laugh when I say this, but once you earn a degree, a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, however far you go in education, once you earn that degree, no one can ever take that away from you. And as you know, people who have a college education are higher earners, they have a better quality of life, and it's a good thing to have. Education will never hurt you, it will only help you. So if it's possible to not put your education on pause, and again, the world is a different place today, so you really have to think about what your options are. But I would say, don't put it on pause. I think you would regret it. So we have a great college here in your community that is ready to serve your needs, and let's get it going. Let's get started.
We do have another question here. People are asking if the bookstore is opened. That's
Yes.
Another question.
Thank you. The bookstore is open. It's open Monday through Thursday from 8:15 to 4 p.m. And they have all the social distancing protocols in place. So please come to get your books. Yes.
So we talked about, some of the things that maybe people are thinking about as far as their education for the fall and so forth. And maybe one of the things that is running through their mind is that, maybe I'm better off maybe staying a little closer to home for the fall, which FM would be a great fit for all the reasons that Jane just mentioned. We're a small community college. You're going to get a lot of one-on-one time with professors. We've got all of the student support systems in place to help students be successful. And it sounds like many colleges are going to be transitioning to some sort of online learning environment. So why not take advantage of a fantastic small community college here at FM, and, you know, not to mention saving maybe a lot of money. You people may be surprised to hear that our tuition here at FM for a semester is $2,520 a semester. You may be looking at college bills tens of thousands of dollars more than that. And actually, to come here to FM, maybe graduate with a 2-year degree, and then utilize those student loans when you transfer on to maybe that bigger and more expensive college, makes a lot of sense. And also, I know people are very concerned about reducing college loan debt. That has been something that really have given people second thoughts about even going to college. Should they do that? And what's great about FM is that our tuition is affordable. If you're eligible for the Pell and the TAP grant, those typically are more than enough to cover the cost of our tuition and fees, and as well as books. So most of our students are graduating without student debt, which is really fantastic. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, Jane, you know, when you first start college, you don't always know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life, right? It's, you know, you may have one path that you think you might want to do, but then you don't really know if that's going to be your thing. Talk a little bit about, Jane, about coming to a community college and trying to figure out what you want to do. Like you're here as a student and you're really not 100% sure about your career path, but you'd like to kind of get started. Why does FM make a lot of sense in that respect?
Absolutely. Well, number one, I'm sure, you know, many people have heard about the general education courses that you have to take in any degree program. So we offer all of those and they all transfer. And what I always tell students is to take a course that you think might be of interest to you. Some students come in and they know exactly what they want to do. We have a great nursing program. We have a great radiologic technology program, very specific courses. We have a business program. But some students come in and they know they want college, but they just don't really know what their niche is. And that's perfectly fine. In fact, that's mostly the case with students. So we have a general studies program, and within the general studies program, you can take a course in business, or you can take a course in marketing, or you can take a course in graphic design, and really just explore what your options might be. And most of our students go that route, and then they by you know, couple third semester, they have kind of figured out where they want to be. And in some cases, they stick with general studies to then transfer onto that 4-year school, or they change into a graphic arts, focus. So it just depends on what you're looking for. But community colleges are wonderful that way because they really let a student explore what your options are for education. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing, and you're exploring, as Laura said, you know, previously, our cost of education at FM. A personalized, you know, supported education is very reasonably priced. So, you know, I of course, I'm a believer. You know, I've been here a long time and I've seen a lot of great success stories, but give us a try. I think you'll be very happy with what you would find. And you may just find yourself here, which is what a lot of people do.
A couple more questions. Actually, one question is, has the science lab been renovated? And yes, it has. And I'll throw that picture up again. Yeah. And also, Jane, the trio room, will the trio room be opened?
Well, thank you for mentioning that. You might have seen in the news, we just got refunded for another 5 years for our 2 trio programs. We have 2 trio student support services grants. And one serves 160 students and the other one serves 100 students. Laura's just putting up the science lab. That they look fantastic. But anyway, so the trio labs, the actual trio office will not be open, but the trio staff knows exactly how to meet the students where they are. So they will be sending out information to the trio students on how to access their services. And believe me, they will be robust as they always have been. We're very proud of those grant programs. And our students who are in those grant programs do really, really well. So thank you for that question.
Yeah. And also I'd like to take this opportunity to maybe introduce our viewers to something that is very unique. SUNY actually understanding the value of community colleges and really the pathway that many students take starting at a community college and then transferring on to a SUNY 4-year has implemented a brand new scholarship called the SUNY Pathways Scholarship Program. And this scholarship program is really for those top high school graduates who are looking to transition to a community college with the goal of actually earning a bachelor's degree, transferring on to a SUNY 4-year. This is a fantastic opportunity. It's only available at SUNY community colleges. We have the application on our website. And what's great about it is that you don't have to be meet some sort of need eligibility. As you know, with Pell and TAP, you definitely have to meet some sort of need. This particular scholarship is really geared towards those top performing high school students to give them a solid pathway. It's a $1,500 scholarship, $500 at the community college level. When you graduate, then transfer on to the 4-year SUNY, you get the additional $1,000. And while you're here at FM, you'll have all those built-in supports with those academic coaches and also a dedicated advisor. Our transfer advisor, Andrea Scribner, is going to be working one-on-one with these scholarship recipients to help them transition and make sure that they step into that next college as a junior. So I just wanted to mention that, and that's also on our website. And that's opened for any recent high school graduate. You must have graduated in 2020. So that is the limitation. There is one other question here, Jane. I just wanted to, can I switch my major more than once?
Yes,
Is
most
the
do.
question.
Most do. The key to that is to work with your academic advisor. We have an assigned advisor model at FM. So when you become a student here, you're given an advisor to work with throughout your education. You can see that advisor, reach out to that advisor as many times as you need to. The only danger in switching a major is if a course doesn't fit into the new major that you want to switch into. But that's what our academic advisors are here for, to help guide you through that process. So yes, I think the research shows that the average student changes their majors 5 times before they decide on where they're going to end up. So that's perfectly normal and absolutely.
So I just wanted to take a minute and please, if you have additional questions, please type those into the chats and we'll get to those. But while we're waiting for those, I just wanted to mention to our viewers that we are still accepting applications for the fall semester. To apply to FM, we offer a free application for admission on our website, which is fmcc.edu. You just complete that short application. In fact, you can even do it on your phone. So you don't have to be at a desktop or a laptop to do it. You're going to find it to be a short and easy application. In addition to that, you need to show that either you're a high school graduate or that you earned what's called a high school equivalency diploma, formerly known as a GED. By proving either of those, we will accept you to FM, and our admissions team will walk you through the next process to help you get you registered for classes. We have this really cool thing going on right now. It's called Good to Go for Fall. And Good to Go for Fall is really a great opportunity. You know, if you're listening to this and maybe you're still on the fence, or you have questions about academic programs, or maybe you're coming in with transfer credits, you just really need some additional questions answered, and you'd like to have a phone appointment with an admissions counselor, look for that Good to Go for Fall banner when you go on to fmcc.edu and sign up for an appointment. We'd love to hear from you. We will certainly walk you through all the process, and there's still plenty of time to enroll, but I would encourage you, if you are interested for the fall, now would be a perfect time to get going. Classes are filling, and we want to get you into the classes that you want and need to fulfill your requirements. So with that, let me take a look, Jane, and see if there's any other questions here that I can throw out that we may have received on here. If people are in high-risk areas in their home, would they be able to request classes online? So in other words, I guess I'm wondering if what the meaning of this is that maybe not really strong academically, would they still be able to request online classes?
Yes. Again, the key to success there, if it's high risk because of COVID, absolutely. If you feel that you're at risk academically, again, our hallmark is that we're a small college and we specialize in student support. So working with an academic advisor, that academic advisor would guide you into, based on your high school transcript or college transcripts or college record, we would definitely recommend courses for you to take, even in the remote setting. Only because in normal times, maybe we would say online or remote might not be the best choice for you, but in these times we would definitely, in fact, even some of our remedial English courses and developmental courses for students who just need to brush up a little bit on their English skills, that those will be taught remotely, and we're putting some good supports in place for students to be able to get through those courses successfully and then move on to college level work. So yeah,
Right.
yes, the answer is yes.
And just to clarify on that question, the person did clarify that they're at high risk, obviously, medical conditions that getting COVID would be detrimental to their family, or being in contact or taking any risks that would potentially bring home COVID. Would they have the option? And I think, as Jane said, approximately 70% of our classes are offered. And in fact, we do offer all the time 3-degree programs that are offered completely online. That's our general studies, associates of arts, business administration, business management programs. So those are always available online, 100% online. But again, in this environment, I think you're going to find the majority of those programs would be accessible through that. So I hope that answers any questions. So not seeing any other questions on that, Jane. I think we've answered all the questions.
So one more thing, Laura, if I could
Sure,
just say, because I realized that we hadn't talked about athletics, and I think that's an important area to talk about as well. That has been quite a struggle for the NCAA, the NJCAA, which is the National Junior College Athletic Association that we are part of. And the athletic directors around our region worked very hard to try to put together an athletic program for the fall. But at the end of the day, and what you're seeing in the news media, is that it's just not safe. So we will not be offering any intercollegiate athletics in the fall semester. And I feel that that's important to let you know. Breaks our heart because we're the home of the Raiders, and we have a lot of Raider pride. But we're hoping that we will have some offerings in the spring, but we will keep students posted about that. But that's an important piece, and I wouldn't want someone to come away from this and not have that information. So Laura, thank you for letting me just add that.
Very good. That's important. Thank you for mentioning it. So one more question here.
Great.
Let's see. There's a question: are we allowed to come back for a second degree or major?
We do have students who do come back for second degrees. That is an approval process that students go through. So my advice to the person asking the question is to get a hold of our academic advising center. There's an email, talktoanadvisor@fmcc.suny.edu. You can email, or you can certainly call the advisement center at our main number, which is 518-736-3622. And the Student Advising Center is extension 8140. And you're more than welcome to contact them and ask that question at any time.
And we've got another really great question from Lisa, which I'm going to take this one. They're asking if a high school senior can start college and have a college experience at FM. And I'm going to jump in on that one, Lisa. Absolutely. We have a fantastic early admission program. And that whole process starts with talking with your high school guidance counselor about whether or not that would be a good fit. There's a couple of different ways high school students participate. One would be to be a full-fledged college student, and many students in high school, we've seen really an uptick in our early admission because they figure they might as well get a year of college under their belt if they're going to be doing maybe just online and it's not going to be a normal senior year. So why not make the most of it and get a full year of college under their belt? You can also do it part-time. Meeting with your counselor in high school is key, because they're going to give a recommendation whether or not coming to college for your senior year is a good fit. You can do so to complete high school requirements. If your counselor doesn't feel that maybe that's in your best interest, you could always do exploratory classes, which means that those classes wouldn't count towards your high school requirements, but they would still be college credits and would give you an experience of being in a college class. So again, if you're interested in that, your first step would be to get in contact with your high school counselor, meet with them. They have all the applications. And of course, if you need any assistance, please go to fmcc.edu. You can chat with an admissions counselor. You can ask for us to give you a call. Same thing is true with the second degree. If you have any issues with doing that, please feel free to use the admissions office as you go through to get to any questions or anything that you may need to know about FM. But absolutely, we've seen a definite uptick in early admission students, and I think that's fantastic. It's a great strategy, kind of gets you started. And we've got one more. Let's see. For Microsoft Teams, will I need an account? I believe that has to do with Blackboard, and if you're a registered student enrolled in a class, that process would be taken care of through your login and so forth, and you would have instructions as to how to get into Microsoft Teams.
I can tell you that, in this world of Zoom and Teams and, all of the things that we do now, which are becoming second nature, I usually use Zoom, but in our courses, we will use Microsoft Teams in the remote courses. And it's a great platform to have lectures and to have meetings, and it works very well. So you will, on the 18th, just as a reminder, instructors will be sending out their course syllabi. So pay attention to that, and there will be instructions in that, I'm sure, that will speak to that exactly. And I just want to also say before we close, a few points that we brought up during the chat. Pay attention to the website for student orientation. That's going to be up pretty soon. And take the time to go through those modules, because that will help you. There's also going to be a video that I recorded earlier today on reopening our campus that has some good highlights that some we talked about today, some we didn't have a chance to, but take a minute. It's about a 6-minute video, but it contains a lot of links to some important information that you will need. And then we also are just in the process of publishing our communication plan for students. So that is it's a long document, and when I wrote it, I thought, oh boy, this is going to be hard to read. It's an easy read. And it really takes you through the physical campus as well as some safety protocols that we have put into place. And I think that you will feel very good about coming to FM once you have an opportunity to review that. And what I'll tell you, students, if you have a chance, ask your parents to take a look at that as well, because I think they will benefit and feel good about what we've put in place for everybody for the fall.
Well, good.
Yeah.
One last thing, scholarships available. Of course, FM has a foundation in which scholarships, we have a 1-page application, and you can find that under the financial aid section of the website. Well, thank you, Jane, so much. Yeah, thank you so much for all the information. It was such a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk with you, and it was such fantastic information. Again, if you're thinking about coming to FM for the fall, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us via fmcc.edu. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.
Nice talking with everybody. Have a great day. Thank you.